What is up, guys? And NYK31 here. It's been a bit. I've had all kinds of hardware and software problems this week that have thankfully been sorted out. So, here we are. It's been a while since I've put out a video about a week. So, to make up for lost time, you will have two games in this video for your viewing pleasure. One, a Draft Champions game here, so you should be going through the Draft Champions draft, and a online ranked game using my Jets as I do my review of Madden 17. I guess in a way, it's kind of fitting seeing how patch number one has come out, and we'll go into that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to break this down into my list of dislikes and likes, and pretty much go from there. And I'm a little bit different as far as people within this quote unquote sim community when it comes to breaking down this game and critiquing it and whatnot. I I don't nitpick over things like, first of all, if you don't like how the players run, you're not going to like how the players run. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not going to freak out over how the ball is spinning out of the hands in a slow motion replay, or things like how the ball is bouncing, and just being overly anal about things that don't really matter all that much. I think most of that stuff is a giant waste of time. But what I am going to talk about are, gameplay mechanics and schematic stuff that I feel either works or do not work, and ways that I think it can be done better. Now, first of all, it's great that patch number one has come out, and of course, there's going to be more coming out, and that leads me to my number one bone of contention. Thanks for the patch, but can we please have these games released without all of these damn glitches? Just too many, just sloppy, out of the box glitches. We all know why they happen. These games have deadlines, and damn it, they're going to ship the game by the deadline, and that's going to be it. And any glitches that are in the game on day one, well, we'll just roll out a patch for it. This is the day and age that we live in, and unfortunately, there's not a whole heck of a lot that we can do about it. It is what it is. From a head to head perspective, the most damning glitch that was fixed in patch number one was the run pass glitch. That was by far the worst one. There was a tell in the defensive matchups when you're going through the matchup stick when you're on defense, that tipped off whether your opponent was running or passing, which was a pain in the behind to deal with. You knew you were dealing with somebody who knew how to do it if they were doing things like audibling to cover zero blitzes and stacking the box, or pass committing serially, or run committing every time you're running the ball. Just there were various ways that you could know that someone was using that against you, and it was very annoying to deal with. But thankfully, that is gone. But there are also various CFM bugs, and from what I understand, this patch, didn't address all of them, and there's more patches coming to clean those up. So if you're a CFM guy, you still probably have to wait in order to get a fully functioning, bug-free CFM experience. It's just a pain. It's just a pain dealing with these games that are rushed and have these glitches that have to be patched and cleaned up in order for them to function properly and for all the modes to work. Next on my list, and these are in no particular order, by the way, just whatever popped into my brain. And this is not really a dislike per se. Man coverage. A couple of things about man coverage that I observed and have drawn just a couple of conclusions about. It's not that man coverage is bad or ineffective. The thing with man coverage is that it's virtually identical to last year as far as mechanics and the lack of mechanics. I'll get into that in a little bit. Also, how it functions. It's more or less the exact same. Press man, there's a little bit more variety in releases and press and chuck animations and win percentages and whatnot, but by and large, man coverage is not that much different than last year, and I think I know why. My best guess is that zone coverage received so much attention in such an overhaul that I don't think there was time left to give man coverage its overhaul as well. And in my opinion, man coverage is due for the same type of attention in terms of technique and functionality. And I'll explain to you what I mean. Number one, there are still too many unpumpable route releases in the game outside of ones that occur in real life, as far as wide receivers being harder to get a grasp on the jam due to their alignment, whether they're staggered or stacked. That I can understand and that I can deal with. But there should never be a situation where a wide receiver, an X or a Z, flanked out wide in their traditional positions, should be given a unbummable route release. The most common example that everybody knows and loves is the bent corner or the C route, which gets a free release off the line every single time. And that's problematic because it negates the physicality of your corner. You have corners in the league that, while they're not that great in space or in off man coverage, they're hell on the receiver from the first 5 yards and are very good at not laying them into their route release very easily. But when you have so many unbelievable route releases, it basically negates that part of his game and just turns it into a man coverage versus route running contest. Like, for example, on that C route, reason why that gets open, let's say you have I don't know, an 88 route running wide receiver, and the corner has a 90 press rating, but only a 82 man coverage rating. His 90 press rating is thrown right out the window because he can't bump the route release, and it turns into a route running contest, which you'll lose most of the time on that route. However, even when you are in a situation where your press corners can do their thing and press the receivers, there are still problematic releases because there's no way to leverage the receiver and contest the route because man coverage shading is pretty much completely ineffective. It works so rarely that it's not even worth doing and wasting your pre-snap adjustment time in doing it. That needs to be changed as well because ideally I want to use the hashes and the numbers and the sideline as natural dividers, or in the case of the sideline, an extra defender. For example, if I have a receiver that is lined up outside the numbers, I want to play inside shade and try to leverage his route outside toward the sideline. Especially if I'm playing two man under, I want to leverage him into that safety. If I'm playing if I'm playing man one or man one robber, and I have a receiver that's inside the numbers, I want to leverage him toward the middle of the field. I want to cut off or have him try to cut off the corner route and the out route and leverage him toward either the deep safety or the underneath rubber defender. Can't do that. You can't really scheme your man coverage in this game due to the problems with the coverage shading not working and the free route releases on the unbumpables, as well as some legacy issues that still exist that creates false steps when your defender is in coverage against certain routes. Again, mostly the unbumpable routes. Pass blocking can still get too binary and linear, especially in play action. The tackles, I feel, do a better job of forming the pocket, but I believe the interior offensive line can do a better job of not being so linear. The CPU is especially, guilty of this, where their offensive line will sometimes turn into this impenetrable fortress But you'll see a pocket form. You saw one form that last play prior to this one. But there's still too much of the binary win-loss, which makes it easier than it should be for guys to escape wide out of the pocket due to a lack of a organic physical push up front and the ends bending the hoop. You saw the end right there on the left do it very nicely, but again, that needs to be more of a factor as far as making people pay for drifting backwards in their drops and also trying to escape wide out of the pocket. I shouldn't have to QB contain or use the send spy or send zone defender mechanic against a guy like, say, I don't know, give me a average scrambler but not quite, top of the line off the top of my head. I don't know, Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's a guy who's more athletic than people think, but he's not going to beat a really athletic end to the edges very often. Might catch him sleeping once or twice, but he's not going to do it consistently throughout a game. Still need to make it a little tougher for that high 60s, let's say 68 to 69 to 72 to 73 rated speed quarterback to get, wide out of the pocket. Outside run fits. I told Clint this would be a problem. You cannot have 8-man run fits. It will make off tackle and stretch runs a headache. I told Clint this, not just me. I'm not the only one. I told this during the beta test. Guys in the community as well on Twitter warned Clint about this also. It's nice that you have run fits in the game. We like that. But everyone has to be involved in the fit in some way, shape, or form. Single high safeties in cover 3. They're not taking a vacation versus the run. I guarantee you Earl Thomas has a run fit. I guarantee you 2 deep safeties have a run fit. One's playing alley, one's playing cutback. I guarantee you, not every corner in the league is Rondé Barber in his prime, but I guarantee you even Patrick Peterson has a run fit at a cover 3. He's not just chilling on vacation when the ball is snapped and handed off. Now I get that in their system they don't have those guys in those deep blue zones and those coverages designated as primary run defenders. That's fine. If that's the way your AI works, cool. But you gotta designate them as something. They can't be spectators. They can't just be sitting there waiting to get blocked. They gotta be doing something. What was happening prior to the patch with these stretches and these counters, the force defender sometimes was drifting backwards instead of meeting force with force. So what would happen on those runs when the force defender was either kicked out or eliminating himself by drifting backwards, there'd be no one there because the corners and the safeties, depending on the play call, weren't involved in the run fit. As you see Dwight Freeney come screaming around the edge and gets the sack that forces the rage quit. That makes me happy. Oh, reliable Dwight Freeney, one of the best speed rushers to ever do it. But anyhow, from what I gather with the patch, that drift has been fixed, but I'm still not satisfied. I still want to see more force out of the force defender. Depending on how talented he is, be much more of an anchor there and really try to reduce the edge and turn that run back inside to help. And from what I hear, that's going to be coming in the second patch. So again, these patches, we'll have to wait and see. Tackle battles. Don't like it. Did not like it when I read about it. Did not like it when I saw it. Do not like it now that I'm playing with it. One, it doesn't really come up all that often enough to be a really major factor, in my opinion. 2, I just find it distracting. When I'm running, I don't want this, prompt, this random button prompt on top of my ball carrier alerting me to tap the hell out of the button to either win or lose a tackle battle. I don't want that at all. Just let me break the tackle and control my ball carrier on my own. I didn't like having to spam a button to break tackles in 2K football. I don't like it here. I wish I could turn it off. QB accuracy, a bit too high. I think that can stand to be tuned down somewhat. We need to see more incompletions that are just to the turf or out of play. I know it's going to drive the tournament player and the casual online ranked player and MUT player crazy, but too bad. You're just gonna have to suck it up and deal with it, or learn how to deal with it. There was nice misdirection defense right there, but yeah, not enough incompletions that simply just hit the ground. Need more of those. I also think that the pass under pressure accuracy penalty needs to be a lot more severe as well. Ratchet that bad boy up a little bit. Last area that I'm going to cover as far as dislikes are concerned, playbooks. Some of you are saying playbooks, who cares? For me, playbooks and how plays are structured conceptually and how playbooks are organized is a huge, huge deal. That's just me. I'm whack like that. In my opinion, there may be 12 playbooks in the game that make conceptual sense as far as what the teams run and what you would want to find in a playbook. And the rest of them are just schlock. You may have a handful of team-specific concepts, and the rest of the playbook consists of homogenized crap with no rhyme or reason. The Jets here actually are one of the few playbooks, one of the dozen or so, that is really close to what the Jets do conceptually. The Jets are basically a spread offense, believe it or not. The Vikings, another one that's pretty good as well, as far as a blend of vertical pass concepts, power running, and a little bit of zone read here and there. Patriots is well done. Saints is well done. The Falcons is it's a well done playbook. Giants and the Cowboys, Packers, they stand out. Buffalo stands out as a well structured playbook. Niners, Panthers, Arizona. Then you have catastrophes like the Seahawks, for example. That playbook is an absolute mess. And also ones that are just flat out obsolete and haven't been updated in years. Like the Bears. The Bears have had the same playbook for about 2-3 years now. So AW, get to work on these playbooks, please. Now on to the likes. The zone coverage overhaul. Long overdue and very much welcome. I love it. The zone coverage concepts, they work very well. There's a couple of things that I feel need to be worked on. I'm not in love with the closing speed of the deep safety in cover 3 and in cover 4. I've been using the single high safety almost exclusively. I'm playing this game here on the linebacker because I want to see how the safeties are reacting. When I'm playing user deep safety, I'm focused on me because you make a mistake there, you're getting ready to receive the kickoff. But I need better closing speed out of the deep safeties at a single high and quarters coverage to really drive on those forced post routes and square ins and squeeze those down, forcing your opponent to have to draw up a route combo to get those routes open as opposed to just trying to gun it in there. The next level, or the next step from here in zone coverage, is pattern match cover 4 and proper press bail technique out of quarters press coverage and cover 3 press, and proper leveraging of the sideline in that cover 3 press coverage. Defensive pressure I like a lot as well. If you're of the opinion that it could be a notch or two higher, I won't argue with you. I think it's really close to ideal. I'm spoiled here with my Jets, as you see, and I also, was getting good pressure in that Draft Champions game as well. But I think it's done very well. I think it's really close to dead on. Now, if you're someone who's getting sack fumbled a lot, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever. If you're getting sack fumbled every other time you get sacked, you're doing something wrong. I don't mean to be that guy, but that's just the way it is. You need to get the ball out quicker. You need to give the QB up. Don't try to throw the ball too often like that when you're about to get hit, or you're gonna fumble the ball. You will, period. And you should. Click R3 to throw the ball away, or use the Triggers in the square button to give your QB up and go into the fetal position and live to fight another down. The new kicking mechanics, love it. Absolutely love it. Field goals and draft champions with these base kickers, they can be an adventure, and they should be. I really like that. That's now a legitimate factor in the game. It's a whole heck of a lot of fun. Between the tackle run fits, done very well. If you're going to have only 8 guys in the run fit, that better be done very well. Short yardage is not a gimme. I've stuffed lots of QB sneaks and fullback dives. You just can't disrespect defensive tackles and any defensive front with shotgun inside zone or a 0-1 trap. You can still pop those plays, but the personnel disparity is honored, and you got to be much more conscious of the front you're going up against. Ball physics and ball tangibility, well done. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8. It looks good the vast majority of the time. Contested catches are a lot more clean looking on those 50-50 balls. Both the interaction with the receivers and the ball and with each other. Once in a blue moon, yes, you will see a ball go through somebody. That's gonna happen in a video game. Every now and then, the computer is gonna say to itself, this ball has to do this and end up here, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna end up there, and there's nothing you can do about it. Is it an epidemic? Not even close. But yes, it will occur. The throwing mechanics are the same from last year, and they work really well. The back shoulder throw works much, much better than last year. I really love how the back shoulder throws play out. I'm going to have to show you guys some clips of those. I just wish they'd bring back my wide receiver specific pump fake. I still have to pump fake using the R3 clicking the right stick, which I don't love because I have to look to see who's being affected by the fake. I'd really love to have that back without sacrificing the functionality we have with the passing mechanics. I really like how they're now laid out, and I hope those don't change, but just continue to clean up the interaction between the receiver and the defenders. They're much smoother than last year, especially in situations where there's going to be a pass interference penalty. But you will still see, an obvious, hey, this two-man dance interaction has to begin, and it'll begin. But I don't think there's anyone who's played this game at all for any length of time that can dispute the fact that it's much more smooth in that regard as far as how the receivers and the defenders are interacting with each other, especially on those downfield aggressive catch sequences, which have been dramatically scaled down. That doesn't mean you can leave some ham and egg 80 man or zone coverage one-on-one against a 97 spec catch Julio Jones. Don't be doing that and complaining that you're getting destroyed. That will happen. But there's more balance for the guys that are, in that mid to high 80s range as far as a defender is concerned. They'll have more of a chance to defend the Julio Joneses and the Antonio Browns of the world on those 50-50 balls. Again, just make sure that your matchup is a sensible one. So that's pretty much it. I think the game has to just tighten some screws, but other than that, as far as the negatives that I mentioned and the screws that need to be tightened to correct those negatives, the game is playing out very well. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I am back to cranking these suckers out, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.